Isaiah Berlin's essay The Hedgehog and the Fox, 1953, is an exploration of two different ways of thinking and engaging with the world, which Berlin uses as a framework to analyze the works and worldview of Leo Tolstoy. The essay derives its title from a fragment of ancient Greek poetry by Archilochus. The fox knows many things, but the hedgehog knows one big thing. Berlin uses this dichotomy as a metaphor to classify thinkers, writers, and historical figures into two categories based on their intellectual and philosophical approaches. Berlin explains the metaphor as follows. Hedgehogs are those who view the world through the lens of a single, overarching idea or principle. They simplify complexities by subordinating diverse experiences to one central vision. Hedgehogs are driven by a unifying theory or a single, all-encompassing truth. Foxes, on the other hand, embrace a more pluralistic approach. They see the world as a chaotic and fragmented place, resisting the temptation to impose a single, unified explanation. Foxes draw on a wide range of experiences and ideas, often showing skepticism toward grand theories. Berlin acknowledges that these categories are not rigid or exhaustive, but they serve as a useful heuristic for understanding intellectual orientations. He applies this distinction to assess the complexities of Tolstoy's thought. Tolstoy, a fox who wanted to be a hedgehog. The core of Berlin's essay is his exploration of Tolstoy's intellectual and artistic personality. Berlin argues that Tolstoy's life and work embody a paradox. While Tolstoy instinctively possessed the qualities of a fox, his philosophical and moral aspirations aligned more closely with the hedgehog. In other words, Tolstoy was a fox who desperately wanted to be a hedgehog. Tolstoy as a fox. Tolstoy's literary works demonstrate a deep appreciation for the diversity and unpredictability of human experience. His novels, particularly War and Peace and Anna Karenina, are sprawling and multifaceted, capturing the complexity of individual lives and the interconnectedness of historical events. Tolstoy's acute observational skills and his ability to depict a wide range of human emotions and motivations underscore his fox-like nature. He was adept at portraying the messiness of life without reducing it to simplistic formulas. Tolstoy's desire to be a hedgehog. Despite his fox-like instincts, Tolstoy yearned for a unifying principle that could make sense of the world's chaos. This desire is evident in his later philosophical writings, where he sought moral and spiritual clarity. Tolstoy's obsession with finding an overarching truth led him to embrace a rigid ethical framework later in life, grounded in Christian anarchism and nonviolence. Berlin suggests that this search for unity was at odds with Tolstoy's natural temperament and artistic genius. Tolstoy's historical vision. Berlin devotes significant attention to Tolstoy's views on history and human agency, as expressed in War and Peace. He contrasts Tolstoy's skepticism toward conventional historical narratives with the deterministic philosophy Tolstoy eventually espoused. Critique of historical determinism. Tolstoy challenged the idea that history is shaped by great individuals or abstract forces. Instead, he emphasized the role of countless small, individual actions and decisions in shaping historical events. Tolstoy's depiction of historical events in War and Peace underscores the unpredictability and contingency of life. He rejected simplistic cause and effect explanations, highlighting the complexity of human behavior and the limitations of historical knowledge. Tolstoy's philosophical contradictions. Despite his critique of historical determinism, Tolstoy ultimately embraced a deterministic worldview. He argued that human free will is an illusion and that history unfolds according to immutable laws. Berlin suggests that this contradiction reflects the tension between Tolstoy's fox-like instincts and his hedgehog-like aspirations. Tolstoy's literary works reveal his deep understanding of human complexity, while his philosophical writings strive for a unifying explanation that often oversimplifies reality. Broader implications of the hedgehog and fox dichotomy. While Berlin's essay focuses on Tolstoy, the hedgehog and fox framework has broader implications for understanding intellectual history and human thought. Classifying thinkers. Berlin applies the hedgehog and fox dichotomy to other thinkers and writers, offering examples to illustrate each category. Hedgehogs include Plato, Dante, and Nietzsche, who are defined by their commitment to a single, overarching vision. Foxes include Shakespeare, Montaigne, and Aristotle, who embrace diversity and multiplicity. Berlin acknowledges that many individuals do not fit neatly into one category. The distinction is not meant to be absolute but rather a way of understanding different intellectual orientations. Tension between unity and plurality. The dichotomy highlights a fundamental tension in human thought: the desire for unity and coherence versus the acceptance of diversity and complexity. Berlin suggests that this tension is universal and that both approaches have value. Hedgehogs offer clarity and focus, while foxes provide flexibility and adaptability. Both perspectives are necessary for a comprehensive understanding of the world. Berlin's philosophical perspective. Although Berlin does not explicitly align himself with either hedgehogs or foxes, his analysis reflects a clear preference for pluralism and skepticism toward rigid, monolithic systems of thought. This preference is consistent with Berlin's broader philosophical outlook, which emphasizes the value of individual freedom, diversity, and the irreducible complexity of human life. In The Hedgehog and the Fox, Isaiah Berlin uses the metaphor of the hedgehog and the fox to explore Tolstoy's intellectual and artistic contradictions, as well as broader questions about human thought. Berlin's nuanced analysis reveals Tolstoy as a profoundly complex figure, whose work embodies both the richness of fox-like diversity and the striving for hedgehog-like unity. The essay's insights extend beyond Tolstoy, offering a valuable framework for understanding the diverse ways in which individuals engage with the world.